or have another print disability which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Well, hello, this is Dan Arth, and for the next hour, I will be reading from the March 14th issue of the Buffalo Criterion on the Niagara Frontier radio reading service. And from the front page, $500,000 key bank investment in Say Yes Niagara Falls expands higher education access for local students. Funding will provide support to Niagara Falls students in pursuing their educational and career goals. The Key Bank Foundation is investing $500,000 in Say Yes Niagara Falls to help remove financial barriers to higher education for public school students in the Niagara Falls City School District. This grant represents the latest chapter in Key Bank's long-standing support of the Say Yes partnership, building on investments made since 2015. The purpose of Say Yes Niagara Falls is to build a strong support system that empowers students to pursue and achieve their educational and career goals. By establishing a sustainable infrastructure that has been modeled after the success of Say Yes Buffalo, this project aims to ensure that future generations continue to benefit from these opportunities in perpetuity, cultivating long-term community growth. This remarkable investment from Key Bank reflects a shared belief in the potential of Niagara Falls students, said David Rust, CEO of Say Yes Buffalo. This support brings us closer to our vision of creating a permanent endowment that ensures graduates of Niagara Falls High School have access to the opportunities they deserve while helping build the skilled workforce our region needs. Grant funds will be allocated to the Niagara Falls Scholarship Endowment Fund to support Niagara Falls students in pursuing their educational and career goals, laying the groundwork for long-term generational success. As the most significant gift to the endowment yet, this $500,000 contribution from Key Bank will bring the fund closer to its $20 million goal and serve as a catalyst to drive further investment, with the intention of building a forever fund to support higher education scholarships. Removing financial barriers so students can pursue college and career training is central to our mission of helping the communities we serve and thrive, and we're excited to help strengthen the region's talent pipeline, said Michael McMahon, Key Bank Buffalo Market President. Key Bank is proud to partner with Say Yes Niagara Falls to support students now and in years to come, he said. When it becomes fully funded, the Say Yes Niagara Falls Scholarship Program will cover tuition costs remaining after federal, Pell, state TAP aid, and institutional financial aid, ensuring students in public and charter schools have access to post-secondary education. Scholarships will help cover the cost of attending 2-year, 4-year, and certificate programs, including credential-bearing programs associated with completing the apprenticeship program. Every Niagara Falls student who dreams of college deserves the chance to say yes to such aspiration. This investment helps clear the path so students can focus on learning, graduating, and building their futures, said Chawuki Owanani, Key Bank Buffalo Corporate Responsibility and Communication Officer. We're honored to support Niagara Falls students and families as they turn aspiration into achievement. Since 2017, Key Bank has made more than $1.7 billion in investments in Buffalo and Western New York, supporting affordable housing and community development projects, small business and home lending to low to moderate income individuals and communities, and transformative philanthropy. Our next article is from the Mighty Oba Sports Report by Pat Freeman. Super Bowl LX, Super Bowl 60 question: why was the commercial airspace left open during the game? After each Super Bowl that I've covered, it is customary for me to reflect on each experience. Each championship game, I try to arrive at the stadium early so I can get a feel for the game and the environment. This year, I noticed that commercial air traffic remained open for the entire game. 10 years ago, I covered Super Bowl 50 at the exact same place, and I do not remember seeing any commercial flights going over the stadium once the game started. This year, I noticed commercial flights were going over the stadium throughout the game. Each time a plane went over the stadium, I kept one eye on it, always remembering what happened on 9/11. My question is, why were planes allowed to fly over one of the world's largest sporting events? The greater question is, who approved such a breach of judgment that would allow commercial air traffic to fly over a high-level security event such as the Super Bowl? The error in judgment could have been an international disaster and should be reviewed by Congress. It is my hope that this article triggers an inquiry so that this lapse in judgment never happens again. From the front page, tribute to Dr. Eva Doyle, Just Because by Allie Freeman. As one poet called out to you, straight, no chaser, nothing, no one could be greater. Your contribution to our society will be your legacy. Just because your teaching, your writing has touched so many, it's only fair that we celebrate you, Dr. Doyle. Your humanity, your caring adds greatly to this community, to this nation. Happy birthday to you. May your spirit take you, lift you higher and higher. You are living proof. The written word captures the image, the imagination, the truth. God bless you, Dr. Eva Doyle. Article, front page, Fillmore Community Church celebrates its 25th anniversary. The Fillmore Community Church family invites you to come celebrate our 25 years of ministry with a banquet on Saturday, April 11th at 4 p.m. That's a banquet on Saturday, April 11th at 4 p.m. at the Jay's White Elephant Banquet Hall, 1404 Abbott Road in Lackawanna, New York. For tickets, call the church at 716-896-6295, 716-896-6295, or you can call Minister Slaughter, 716-578-5867. That's 716-578-5867. Join us as we celebrate this amazing milestone under the pastoral leadership of Reverend Brian D. Robinson. As we join together, we will recognize and acknowledge FCC's history and how God's Word does not change. Gather with us on April 12th at 10 a.m. at 821 Fillmore Avenue at 10 a.m. to hear of a faithful God and persevering people, year by year growing in grace. 2 Peter 3:18. Next news article, Mayor Sean Ryan announces need for lifeguards before summer season begins. Free certification training begins this weekend. Mayor Sean M. Ryan announced today that the city of Buffalo is actively recruiting lifeguards for the 2026 summer season and encouraging residents of all ages to apply as the city works to expand swimming opportunities and aquatic programming at public pools this summer. The city is seeking both experienced lifeguards and those interested in becoming certified for the first time. City of Buffalo lifeguards earn $20 per hour while supervising lifeguards earn $22 per hour. For Buffalo residents ages 16 to 21, lifeguard certification training is free. Training will take place from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on March 14th, March 15th, March 21st, March 22nd, and March 28th at the Connors Kate Harity Memorial Pool, Cazenovia Park Pool at 626 Abbott Road. Those interested in becoming lifeguards must complete 4 of the 5 certification classes offered through the training program. More certification classes may be added based on need. This summer will be here before we know it, and we're working hard to build the lifeguard staff we need to open our pools and offer more programming for Buffalo families. Mayor Ryan said, "This is a great opportunity to earn money, learn CPR, and serve your community. And if we're able to hire 100 certified lifeguards this season, I'll jump into the Cazenovia Park Pool in a suit." The City of Buffalo is working to strengthen aquatic programming this summer by offering more structured and constructive swimming opportunities for residents across its public pools. Additional information, including registration details for certification classes and how to apply, is available at buffalonewyork.gov/lifeguard. Our next article, Towards a Better Life by Eva M. Doyle. Lucy Craft Laney, a great black educator. There is a shortage of teachers across the country. The shortage is great among African Americans. It is my opinion that we need to highlight those teachers who have made a difference. One of those teachers is Lucy Craft Laney. She made history, and we need to remember her life story. Lucy Craft Laney was born in Macon, Georgia in 1854. She was the 7th of 10 children. Her parents, both former slaves, were David and Louisa Laney. David Laney was a skilled carpenter. He bought his own freedom. Later, he moved to Macon in 1836 and became a minister of the Presbyterian Church. In Macon, he met his future wife, who was a slave of the Campbell family. He bought her freedom, and they got married. The Laney children received their schooling from one of the Campbell daughters. Lucy went to a public school in Macon. She was able to attend Atlanta University. She graduated in 1873. For 10 years after her graduation, Lucy taught in the public schools for black students. She spoke to many people about the need to teach blacks. Finally, in 1883, the Presbyterian Church helped her to open a school. The first classes were held in the basement of the church. By 1931, the school had 27 teachers, 413 elementary students, and 300 high school students. One of the teachers in the school was Mary McLeod Bethune. Mary Bethune went on to start her own school. Lucy Laney believed that teachers should always continue to learn, and she practiced what she preached and continued her own education. Lucy started the first kindergarten in Augusta, Georgia in 1892. She started a school for nurses. Lucy Craft Laney died on October 23rd, 1933. Over 5,000 people came to her funeral. She was honored for doing so much for the city of Augusta. A picture of Lucy Laney was placed in the State House of Atlanta, Georgia. The story of Lucy Craft Laney is an inspiration to all students and teachers. She did so much to educate African Americans. A study of the early black educators in our history will show that they started schools and worked hard to make sure that their students received the best education. Despite the difficulties they faced, these educators were determined to make a difference in their community. Lucy Craft Laney was truly a great black educator. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Buffalo Criterion on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Next article, Free Women's Wellness Day in Niagara Falls, hosted by the Community Health Center of Buffalo, Inc. Women's Health Department. The Community Health Center of Buffalo, Inc. Women's Health Department will host a Women's Wellness Day on Friday, March 27th, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 2715 Highland Avenue in Niagara Falls, New York. The free event focuses on prevention, education, and staying healthy. Guests may come and go throughout the day, enjoy healthy snacks, and connect with community partners. Information about services provided by the Community Health Center of Buffalo, Inc. will be available, including women's health, family planning, and behavioral health. Additionally, blood pressure checks will be provided and STI screenings will be available. Attendees will have an opportunity to connect with various community resources, including an introduction to yoga with mini sessions offered during the event, art resources by Niagara Arts and Cultural Center, fresh veggies and fruits from Feed More Western New York Farm Market Truck available from noon to 2 p.m., financial resources from Bank on Buffalo, snacks and recipes from the Fidelis Care Lunchology Program, resources about symptoms and risks for gynecologic cancers from Ovarian Cancer Project, support services provided by the New York State Cancer Services Program, complimentary hygiene tote bag from Dignity Grows Buffalo through the Buffalo Jewish Federation while supplies last, and from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., the Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center Eddy Mobile Mammography Van will offer screening mammograms. Appointments are required. Space is limited. For a mammogram appointment, call 716-986-9199, extension 4015. Again, an appointment is required for a mammogram. Call 716-986-9199. Staff will be available to assist attendees with scheduling appointments for women's health services and other medical care offered at the Community Health Center of Buffalo, Inc. Attendees who are age 21 or over can enter to win select concert tickets at Darien Lake. Community members are encouraged to stop by at any time during the event to learn more about available services and community resources. For more information about the Women's Wellness Day event, call 716-986-9199, extension 5007. For more information about the Women's Wellness Day event, call 716-986-9199, extension 5007. The Community Health Center of Buffalo, Inc. operates locations in Buffalo, Cheektowaga, Niagara Falls, and Lockport as a federally qualified health center. The Community Health Center of Buffalo is committed to providing quality primary and preventive health care to individuals of all ages, regardless of the ability to pay. Next article, New York State Education Department awards $8.1 million in federal grants to programs supporting homeless students. Funding will support approximately 137,000 students across New York State. The New York State Education Department, NYSED, awarded more than $8 million in grants authorized by the McKinney-Vento Homeless Education Act. State Education Commissioner Betty A. Rosa announced today. The grants awarded as a component of the Every Student Succeeds Act, or ESSA, will impact 66 school districts and 5 charter schools. 32 total awards were granted, with 7 going to district or BOCES-led consortiums. Chancellor Lester W. Young Jr. said, "Children experiencing housing insecurity bear challenges through no fault of their own. And yet these hardships too often create barriers that negatively affect their educational journey. Every student deserves equitable access to excellence in learning, and it is imperative that we provide them with every opportunity to thrive despite adversity. These grants help close critical gaps for students who need additional support due to their living circumstances, safeguarding their right to a free and appropriate public education in New York State," he said. Commissioner Roses said, "Education is one of the most powerful drivers of upward mobility, and students experiencing homelessness must not be denied opportunity because of circumstances beyond their control. No child should receive a substandard education because of where they sleep at night. And it is our moral imperative to ensure every student across the state has the support necessary to succeed. These grants deliver meaningful resources to support and uplift students while equipping schools with additional tools to serve children in need." The purpose of the McKinney-Vento Education of Homeless Children and Youth Act is to ensure that all homeless children have equal access to the same free, appropriate public education, including public preschool education, provided to those who are permanently housed. The program provides funds to school districts to develop and implement strategies that facilitate the enrollment, attendance, and success in school of homeless children and youth, which includes students' basic academic and unique needs. Funds can be used for educational services, including tutoring, expedited evaluations, awareness training, health services, excess cost of transportation, early childhood programs, record keeping, parent programs, coordinating services, violence prevention, providing supplies, services, and learning environments at shelters and other temporary housing facilities. The McKinney-Vento Sub-Grant Program award amounts are dependent upon the 3-year average number of students in temporary housing identified for each local education agency, LEA, or consortium. 100 to 500 students identified, up to $175,000 per year. 501 to 1,000 students identified, up to $225,000 per year. 1,001 to 50,000 students identified, up to $300,000 per year. Greater than 50,000 students identified, up to $2.5 million per year. The grant period is September 1, 2025 to August 31, 2028, with funding for 2 years and 3 to be awarded at the same level as year 1. Our next article, Assembly Proposed Budget Invests in Programs to Make Housing More Affordable and Make Home Ownership More Accessible. Speaker Carl Heastie and Housing Committee Chair Linda B. Rosenthal today announced that the Assembly State Fiscal Year SFY 2026 to 2027 proposed budget makes investments in programs to make housing more affordable and to make homeownership more accessible. A top priority of the Assembly has always been making sure every New Yorker has access to safe, affordable housing. Speaker Heastie said, "This budget makes critical investments in public and affordable housing programs to help those at risk of homelessness and programs to help put home ownership within reach for families. We will continue working to fund these vital programs and make sure no one has to worry about how to keep a roof over their head." With a rising cost of living and disastrous federal budget cuts by the Trump administration, New Yorkers are finding it harder than ever to access safe, stable, and affordable housing, said Assemblymember Rosenthal. The Assembly One House budget delivers another necessary investment in our Housing Access Voucher Program to move more people into permanent housing, provides substantial investments in NYCHA and Mitchell-Lama housing to help preserve these homes for generations to come, bolsters funding for our neighborhood and rural preservation programs to prevent displacement, and continues the state's investment in the Homeowner Protection Program to help households statewide avoid foreclosure. Despite ongoing attacks by the Trump administration, our one House budget meets the need of everyday New Yorkers. Under the staunch leadership of Speaker Hesty, I look forward to passing a final state budget that expands and preserves affordable housing in every corner of the state. The Assembly's budget includes critical capital funding investments in public housing and affordable housing across the state, including $750 million for the New York City Housing Authority, $750 million for Mitchell-Lama preservation, and $225 million for public housing authorities outside of New York City. It also provides $100 million for Mitchell-Lama developments and NYCHA to offset maintenance costs. To help provide more families with home ownership opportunities, the budget includes $50 million in down payment assistance to families with between 50 and 100% of area median income. Of that, $20 million is set aside for home ownership opportunities for diverse populations. The proposed spending plan includes an additional $200 million for the Housing Access Voucher Program, HAVP, for a total of $220 million. HAVP, Housing Access Voucher Program, is a rental assistance program that helps individuals and families who are homeless or at risk of homelessness to secure permanent housing and transition out of shelters or unsustainable housing situations. It also enables local housing agencies to avert evictions for non-payment of rent and other causes of displacement. The creation of the program was a long-time priority of the Assemblies and was created in the SFY, State Fiscal Year 2025-2026 enacted budget. The Assembly budget would also codify the Homeowner Protection Program, HOPP, which provides free housing counseling and legal services to homeowners related to home ownership retention, such as preventing foreclosure and deed theft. Next article, YMCA Buffalo Niagara to host fundraising gala on April 25th. YMCA Buffalo Niagara is excited to announce its 2026 Strengthening Community Gala is planned for April 25th at the Hyatt Regency Buffalo. This premier event kicks off at 5:30 p.m. and includes cocktails, dinner, a silent and live auction, and live entertainment by the Uptown Groove. The prestigious Gold Key Award will also be presented to an outstanding YMCA volunteer who exemplifies the values and mission of the YMCA. The Gold Key Award recipient's name is kept secret until the moment of presentation. The YMCA Gala is more than a great evening. It is a chance for our community to come together and make a real difference. Every guest in the room is helping expand opportunities for children, families, and seniors who rely on the YMCA every day. We hope people will join us for a memorable night that truly strengthens Western New York. T.J. Stewart, the gala chair on the YMCA's board of directors, said, "All proceeds of the gala benefit the Y's efforts to empower youth and improve community health in Western New York. Tickets are on sale now at ymcagala.org. That's tickets are on sale now at ymcagala.org. and you are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Buffalo Criterion on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Next article, Mayor Ryan requests lead role for Buffalo in Scajaquada Corridor Project. Mayor Sean M. Ryan today sent a letter to the New York State Department of Transportation requesting that the city of Buffalo be designated as the lead agency for the next phase of the Scajaquada Corridor Project. In his letter to New York State DOT Commissioner Marie-Therese Dominguez, Mayor Ryan also requested that $56 million be included in the New York State DOT Transportation Improvement Program to advance the project through environmental review and design. The Scajaquada Corridor was the subject of the Greater Buffalo Niagara Regional Transportation Council's Region Central planning process, which concluded in 2023 after extensive community engagement. The process produced a preferred vision for the future of the corridor that received broad support from the surrounding community. Mayor Ryan said Buffalo must play a leading role in shaping major infrastructure projects that will affect the city's neighborhoods, parks, and transportation network for generations. This is a major transportation project that will shape Buffalo for the next generation. So the city of Buffalo needs to be in the driver's seat, Mayor Ryan said. For too long, City Hall has taken a back seat while decisions about our infrastructure were made by others. The Region Central process produced a thoughtful, community-supported vision for this corridor, and now it's time to move that work forward. By coordinating this effort with the Kensington Project, we can deliver a better outcome for the surrounding neighborhoods and everyone who interacts with those corridors. Mayor Ryan's letter notes that the Region Central Plan represents a rare consensus after more than 2 decades of stalled planning around the Scajaquada Expressway. Advancing the project would allow Buffalo to coordinate improvements with the ongoing planning process for Route 33 corridor and ensure the two connected projects are designed in a way that works for the city of Buffalo. Next article, Roswell Park hosts Women's Cancer Wellness Summit, March 21st. For a long time, hearing someone was going to Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center prompted a feeling of despair and sadness. When I was growing up, if you heard somebody was going to Roswell Park, you basically thought of them as having a very grim prognosis, says Tricia Newman, MD. But so much has changed in cancer care since then, and so much has changed at Roswell. Since joining the pathology department a few years ago, Dr. Newman has seen firsthand how different things are. Getting a diagnosis of cancer or coming to Roswell Park are entry points, not terminal destinations. To help shed light on new treatment approaches to cancer that focus on the whole patient, not just their cancer, and to discuss how Roswell Park cares for patients into their survivorship journey, Dr. Newman has organized a Women's Cancer Wellness Summit taking place from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. on Saturday, March 21st at the Buffalo and Erie County Botanical Gardens on South Park Avenue in Buffalo. More information and registration is available at www.roswellpark.org/WCWS 2026. That's www.roswellpark.org/WCWS 2026. We went from total mastectomies for breast cancer to lumpectomies and hormone therapy, she says. So much has changed in medicine. It's no longer about just surgery and chemo and radiation therapy. There are so many great services at Roswell Park to treat the whole person through their whole journey, and integrative therapies as well, including Reiki and breath work. Dr. Newman has organized a list of Roswell Park experts who will speak on 2 different panels as part of the summit, including Ermelinda Bonaccio, MD, FACR, on the importance of breast screening and the high-risk breast cancer program at Roswell Park. Helen Cappuccino, MD, FACS, on de-escalation of treatment for breast cancer and the importance of nutrition during treatment. Eric Hansen, MD, on functional medicine and integrative therapy. Kayla Keogh, MS, BSRD, on the importance of nutrition in survivorship. Catherine Levin Mager, MD, FACOG, personalized medicine based on biomarker results and de-escalation of treatment and the importance of establishing integrative therapies early in treatment. Ken Ono, MD, PhD, on the role genetics can play in cancer and the importance of genetic screening for anyone with a family history of cancer. Mary Reed, BSN, MSPH, PhD, on lung and colorectal screening and survivorship care. And Dr. Newman will provide updates on HPV vaccination research. People talk about wellness, but it means different things to different people, Dr. Newman says. To me, wellness means taking care of yourself. That can mean scheduling a colonoscopy, not smoking, or if you have a family risk of cancer, finding out more information about it and seeing if genetic testing is right for you. I want to showcase that although wellness can mean a nice spa day, it means so much more. The summit is free and open to women who were treated for their cancer anywhere, not just for Roswell Park patients. There's room for 100 participants who will be provided breakfast and light refreshments throughout the day, in addition to the opportunity to speak with wellness advocates, all while being surrounded by the warmth and tropical surroundings of the botanical gardens. Dr. Newman hopes the summit will encourage women, regardless of their cancer status, to sign up for screening services and gain a better understanding of the whole patient care offered by Roswell Park. We're not just here for your cancer treatment and then you're done. We offer great screening services, including through our 2 mobile screen centers for lung, breast, and prostate cancer, and the very important genetic counseling services offered at Roswell Park 2. Next article. C District Police Chief Thelma Jones is cleaning up Buffalo. Oh, I know, I got everyone's attention now. Yes, the police officer in charge of the C District Police Station is a woman, a black woman, and she is literally cleaning up this city in more ways than one. And in her usual approach to community engagement and outreach, she is doing the job, not by using the tools of her trade, her badge, or her gun, but with a broom and a rake. This writer was driving down East Ferry Street near Fillmore Avenue several days ago when I spotted a blue-suited female using a broom and a rake to pick up the debris that had littered the grounds around the C District Station house. The woman with the beautiful blonde hair tied in a ponytail looked familiar. I recognized her as the chief of police for that station house. Wow, Chief Jones working that broom like that instead of designating one of her lower-ranked officers to attend to the task was like Mayor Sean Ryan taking a push broom and sweeping in front of Buffalo City Hall. That is a good thing to imagine, and it would be fun to watch, but I am sure we will not see this happening anytime soon. This very heartwarming display of Chief Jones and the C District being good neighbors by cleaning up around their station house is a show of love, respect, support, and the connection they have with the community around them. The C District Police Station is also a place where block clubs and other community organizations may use to host meetings and workshops. Also, in the summer, the police officers assigned there puts on a community day event for the kids and other folk, food, raffles, games, bicycle giveaways, and information distributed to the participants. Last year, the C District Police Station hosted a fun and food community affair on Jefferson Avenue in support of the weekly Friday Night Live dance and music event that starts in June. Chief Thelma Jones is a hands-on type of law enforcement officer. As a member of the Juneteenth Board of Directors, this writer has seen firsthand how she gets personally involved in trying to maintain order and safety when some of our wayward youth start to get out of line. She does not just sit at her desk at C District during the festival. She is out there in the park directing her officers and working with Juneteenth's public safety officer Murray Holman, Pastor James Giles, and the Peacekeepers group, and also paid private security to ensure that, with the community's involvement and support, the two-day festival remains safe and secure for all to come, celebrate, and enjoy. Most of us equate cleaning up Buffalo by the police as officers traveling across the city, getting rid of drugs and guns and putting criminals behind bars. That is a good analogy, but isn't it wonderful that we can picture a hardworking police chief who, with her rake and her broom, has made more of a positive impact on a good relationship between police officers and the community they serve than a gun and badge could ever do. Next article, measles again and again? Is That Right? By Frank Gist. A controversy has emerged at Disneyland after 57 children came down with the measles. The controversy erupted, asking why children were contracting measles, which had been declared eradicated in the U.S. in 2001. Some people blame the individuals who refused to vaccinate their children because of fear of side effects, example, consequences from injecting heavy metals into their children's bodies. Many of these so-called anti-vaxxers suspect the inexplicable increase in autism in children is linked to vaccines. The media and mainstream scientific community have labeled these people as crazy conspiracy theorists who have no real scientific proof of any connection between vaccines and autism. Yet the scientific community nor the media has no clue why autism has drastically risen in this generation. As a baby boomer, I vividly remember being vaccinated in grammar school. The teachers would walk the classes up in a large room that reeked antiseptic and alcohol, where we were made to pull our sleeves up as far as they could go. One by one, our exposed limb was swabbed down with ice-cold alcohol before being stabbed in the arm with a hypodermic needle. It hurt. I also remember having chicken pox and measles like most of the other children in my neighborhood. Chicken pox was as common as a cold then, but I don't remember anyone dying from childhood diseases. Most kids contracted chicken pox. They would be told to stay in the house a few days and it would pass. In fact, having chicken pox was almost part of being a child. In 1963, 4 to 5 million children contracted chicken pox and only 500 died. But the medical community decided no child should have to suffer through childhood viruses. So vaccines of every variety have been implemented to save society from these pestilences. Today, every child is required to receive no less than 29 different vaccinations: chickenpox, measles, mumps, whooping cough, tuberculosis, flu, pneumonia, hepatitis A, hepatitis B, rubella, tetanus, and retrovirus, and many more. On its surface, this is great news for humanity to eradicate this disease from the course of nature. However, there is a law in physics that says for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. It's common sense to recognize that injecting millions of children with heavy metals is going to have a negative effect on some of these children. Is it any wonder that autism and cancer have skyrocketed in the past 60 years? Every day of the week, I see an advertisement for prescription drugs that tout some miracle cures, but have a laundry list of side effects that seem to outweigh the risk of the cure. So why is it different with vaccinations? The dirty little secret about this most recent outbreak of measles at Disneyland is many of those children had been vaccinated against the disease. The medical community does not want the public to think the vaccines have become ineffective or has mutated to a stronger, more virulent strain that could really wreak havoc. It has been said that it is nice to fool Mother Nature because Mother Nature can fool us back. Let me repeat that last one. It has been said that it is not nice to fool Mother Nature because Mother Nature can fool us back. And you are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Buffalo Criterion on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Next article, The Dead Can't Speak. Our Death Investigation System Won't Either, by Terrence Keel, University of California. Every year, more Americans die in police custody than in Canada, Germany, Australia, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom combined. Let that settle for a moment. Not in a war zone, not in a natural disaster, in the custody of their own government, in jails, in the back of patrol cars, in holding cells just blocks from their families. And yet most of us have never heard of the vast majority of these deaths. That invisibility is not accidental. It is engineered. I am a professor at UCLA, and for the last 15 years, I have taught countless young minds about the history of scientific racism and how medical discrimination impacts black and other politically vulnerable communities. Despite this work, I had not realized that our death investigation system was corrupted by racial bias, police influence, and discrimination. George Floyd's public murder was a turning point for me. His autopsy revealed how our institutions, our medical examiners, our coroners, our courts obscure the truth. While the Hennepin County Medical Examiner classified Floyd's death as a homicide, it made sure to note that his primary cause of death was cardiopulmonary arrest complicating law enforcement subdual. What does this actually mean? It meant that Floyd had a bad heart, which made it harder for police to arrest him, and therefore police had to use more force. If not for the video footage of his death and the global protests that followed, Floyd's death would have gone unnoticed, and his death record would have remained one that obscured the truth. After his death, I went looking for all the George Floyds that never gained media attention or justice. What I discovered was horrifying. Like many of us, I believe that when someone died under suspicious circumstances, the systems designed to investigate those deaths would follow the evidence wherever it led. I was wrong, and the cost of that comfortable ignorance has been paid in lives. I wrote The Coroner's Silence to help us get up to speed about what really happens when people lose their lives to police violence. Here's what our death investigation system actually does. It buries the truth alongside the body. When someone dies in police custody, the law requires an investigation. A medical examiner or coroner examines the body and assigns a cause: homicide, natural causes, suicide. accident, or undetermined. On the surface, this sounds like democratic accountability. In practice, it is often its opposite. Most of these investigations are not elected officials. They are appointed by the very same local governments that would face financial and legal consequences if their police departments were found responsible for a killing. The conflict of interest is not subtle, it is structural. The results speak for themselves. Families who lose loved ones in custody are handed autopsy reports that describe in vague and detached clinical language how a pre-existing heart condition or a history of substance abuse was the real cause of death. Reports that catalog injuries, broken noses, abdominal hematomas, torn wrist tissue, and then refuse to explain how a person alone in a cell acquired them. Reports that treat the deceased as the author of their own death, while the officers who were the last people to touch that body disappear from the record entirely. This is not incompetence. It is a choice. The bodies of people who die in custody contain two things: biology and society. They carry the physical evidence of their final hours, bruises, hemorrhages, and ligature marks, but they also carry a longer story. They carry the consequences of over-policed neighborhoods and underfunded mental health systems. They carry the physiological weight of poverty, of fear, of being in the wrong place at the wrong moment, in a country that has never adequately reckoned with whom it decides to criminalize and why. A truly honest autopsy would have to reckon with all of that. It would have to name the officers in the room, the policies that put them there, and the failures that made the encounter lethal. Our system does almost none of this. Instead, death investigators look at a body and see only nature. They see a heart that stopped, a lung that failed, a pre-existing condition that tipped toward its inevitable conclusion. They do not see the society inside the body, the legal decisions, the economic neglect, the institutional indifference that shaped that person's final hours. To see society inside a body is a political act, and in a system designed to protect the state, political acts are unwelcome. What would accountability actually look like? It would start with making death investigators genuinely independent, not appointed by the governments they are supposed to scrutinize. It would require mandatory, transparent public reporting on every in-custody death, with standardized data collection that can be audited by researchers, journalists, and the families most affected. It would demand that autopsies routinely document the actions of officers present, not just the biological condition of the deceased. And it would mean facing the uncomfortable truth that many of the people who die in custody were already victims of our nation's vanishing safety net of poverty, of mental illness, of a society that responds to suffering with handcuffs rather than humane solutions. The families who have lost someone to police violence already know this. Many of them have taught themselves medical terminology, legal procedure, and forensic science just to ask the questions their government refuses to raise on their behalf. They are doing the work our democratic institutions were built to do, but often fail to deliver. The rest of us need to catch up. Willful ignorance is not neutrality. It is a vote for the status quo. And in this case, the status quo is a death toll that should be making headlines every single day. We cannot afford to wait for someone else to solve this. The silence of our coroners is also the silence of our consent. This silence must be filled with the truth. Next article, a Christian perspective. It's your choice. Mark 3:13-19, John 6:56-71. Today, Like in the past, Jesus is inviting you to follow him. We all have a choice to make. Will you be like the apostles and leave the things of this world to follow Jesus? Believe it or not, it is still just that simple. Do you follow the values of this world or the Word of God? John 1:1 through 4. Is the Lord invited into your home? Will the Lord find the atmosphere welcoming, or will he have to send an angel ahead to change the channel on the television or to change the radio station you are listening to? 1 Corinthians 3:16-17. Even then, some of us will arise and change the channel back to what we were watching or listening to in the beginning. We cannot hear the voice of the Lord because the world is shouting in our spiritual ears. Mark 4:23-24. We spend more time in the world than we do with the Lord, and thus we are attentive to the things of the world. We have chosen to date Satan instead of the Lord. James 4:4. Like in many royal families, Jesus sends out emissaries to see if we are interested in becoming his bride. Every time a Christian speaks to you about the gospel or invites you to church, Jesus is checking whether you are interested in him. Every time the pastor opens the door to the church, you are being invited into the royal household. Ephesians 2:19. Can you hear the still, quiet voice of Jesus calling you? John 10:27. Can you hear him knocking on the door of your heart? He wants to come in. Will you open the door? Revelation 3:20. Will you continue to ride the fence, not making up your mind whom you will serve? Matthew 6:24. There will soon be a time when you least expect it that Jesus will return for all those that chose his way of life. 1 Thessalonians 5:2-9. Will your name be on the list? Will your name be written in the book of life? Revelations 3:5-6. Or will you join those condemned to the lake of fire? Revelation 20:15. The choice is yours. There is a way that looks right to man but leads to death. Proverbs 14:12. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. No one can come to the Father except by him. John 14:6. Jesus is waiting for you and wishes that all might be saved. 1 Timothy 2:3-6. Choose life. Romans 6:16-22. Today is the day of salvation. 2 Corinthians 6:1-2. Amen. And you've been listening to a reading of articles and features from the March 14th issue of the Buffalo Criterion. We read from the Buffalo Criterion every Friday at 7 p.m. Your reader today has been Dan Arth. Thank you for listening.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have the New York Times. At 9 o'clock, we have Buffalo Spree. And at 10 o'clock, we have episode number 10 of The Secret of Secrets by Dan Brown. Stay with us for these readings and more. Radio Reading mails out a large print program schedule to our listeners every other month. If you have not received a Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service large print program schedule in the mail, please call us at 716-821-5555. We will make sure that you receive one every other month. A Braille version of the schedule is also available upon request. Our number again is 716-821-5555.
Hello, this is Chris Wilhelm, and for the next hour, I'll be reading from the Friday